Welcome, everybody. It's your girl, Delores, just the pink girl in my pink world, here on every social platform with my good brother, J News. J News, you got anything to say to everybody?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. It is Sunday. It is now a little bit past 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Hit the Ropes podcast. We have lots to review for the week that was in professional wrestling and things of that nature. So stay tuned, buckle up, and enjoy the show.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We're back tag teaming again. Sorry for last week, but you know your girl has some important stuff to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to preview a new company to you, not new to me and J News, but it's time. You already know what it's time for. It's the Hit the Ropes podcast, and it's time for what? Review. Let me get my, as I said one time before, when I was with J News, let's just go ahead and get our phone Master Flex on. And it's not gonna. Yeah, gave you a little small sound. Let me see. There you go. I got my phone Master Flex on just there. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna start off with WWE. We're gonna start off with Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, Raw was 1686 on the 15th on Netflix. If you all do not know, if I remember right, this week and next week, Raw is coming on at 7 p.m. So remember that. Also, I hate you, WWE, for what you did to me. J News, you know they got me getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 11th.
Why is that?
They're in Perth for Crown Jewel.
Oh, they're in Australia. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So for the Pacific people, I know y'all won't see me because it'll be 5 a.m. for you. WWE Monday Night Raw 1686 on the 15th on Netflix. Lyra Valkyria defeated Roxanne Perez. Penta Zero Mero defeated Kofi Kingston. El Grande Americano defeated Dragon Lee. Stephanie Valkyria defeated Kairi Sane, and the Vision of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeated Jimmy Uso and L.A. Knight. J News, did you see this and what did you think?
I think that, if I'm not mistaken, let me take a look at the matches here. I think the only part about this show that I watched was the first match, really, and the segments that happened with Bayley. So Lyra Valkyria defeated Roxanne Perez, and Roxanne Perez and Raquel came after the match was over, and Lyra beat Roxanne. They went to go beat down Lyra. Eventually, Bayley came down. She ran down, should I say, and she saved Lyra. And there was a little bit of, I wouldn't say friction, but Lyra was a little bit confused as to why Bayley was down there to save her and stuff like that, with the confused face. And then Bayley in the ring was basically fighting with her with the voices in her head. And after Lyra noticed that, Bayley came up and she got all happy and giddy and started hugging everybody around the ring. Bayley becoming her hugger gimmick and things of that nature. And that was funny to watch. And then later on in the night, the only other thing that happened with Bayley per se was that Lyra went to go thank Bayley in her locker room, but she noticed that Bayley was talking to herself. And it seemed that Bayley was having a conversation with herself, and Bayley then turned into her ding dong hello character and things of that nature. And she basically screamed at Lyra Valkyria for coming into her locker room without letting her know first and things of that nature. So it seems that we're going to be working with
voices in her head.
Yeah,
they're talking to her, and she definitely understands.
We're dealing with a multiple personality version of Bayley. going forward. Penta versus Kofi, I don't think I got anything from that per se. The Stephanie Valkyrie versus Kairi Sane match was pretty good as well, but that continued to from a storyline perspective, it continued what's been going on with Asuka, and Asuka, beckoning Kairi Sane every other moment, and her really beefing with the likes of Rhea Ripley and also Stephanie as well. So there's that with that particular thing, and then the Vision. Yeah, I mean that ended the way it was supposed. That ended the way it ended. I think not Jimmy, but Jay, mistakenly at some point during whatever exchange happened there, got busted open. I didn't even notice when it happened. To be quite honest, because he swung the chair and he hit one of the bronze, and he was fine. And then like a second later, all of a sudden he starts bleeding from his head. And I'm like,
yesterday they were leaking.
So that was interesting to see for all intents and purposes or whatever. But yeah, there's that, and that was basically the go home for their thing going into for their match for WrestlePalooza. And yeah, but nothing else of note that I can Raw.
Last week, you remember Jay ended by whacking LA Knight, and then LA Knight turned the favor this week. The Stephanie Valkyrie match, it seemed like Kyrie is like, how you seen people who have that friend who don't want their friend to be friends with anybody else? That's exactly what it is. And I think it was they listened to the Hit the Ropes podcast, because I remember a week or so ago, J News, I mentioned that I wanted El Grande Americano and all the rest of the El Grande Americanos to do the Spider-Man meme, and they did it. They did it, and I was excited. I didn't care for the match. I just was excited that they all came together to do the Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, I think I saw a photo of that, and it got mentioned during the week, but I didn't see it on Monday night per se. The news that kept on coming down from last week that spilled over into this week was the firing or the release of Andrade and things of that nature. That I saw WWE based stuff, but outside of that,
he supposedly either failed the test or something happened to it where he supposedly failed, supposed to come back and do it again, or he didn't do it in the first place. It's either one. They've been conflicting reports.
Made clear.
Yeah, and but either way, if he did not want to do it or he did it and failed and was supposed to redo it, he did not talk to the company. He didn't answer their calls. He wasn't responding. And at that point, they said, "You're hiding for a reason. Goodbye." And that was the last straw that they had with him, and which messed up not Penta, but his brother. Ray Phoenix, because they were supposed to be in a tag team and they were supposed to be moving up in the ranks. So now that put a halt in that. But it was just like at a certain point, sir, you are the problem.
It seemed a little confusing to me, all the bits of information and news that came out. And yet again, there's still no concrete information as to why he got fired.
Yeah, I mean the in the end of it all, from all speculations, no matter if he did not want to take the testing or he took the test and they had to retest again, they got popped for a test. Regardless of either story, it both ends with him not responding back to WWE when they reached out for him to do this test or retesting, and them saying, "We trying to help you. If you don't want to do this, then see you later, alligator." But all the stories end with him being not communicating with WWE, and they end up being like, "This is enough."
But that's the part where in the news storyline, that I didn't understand. Because for one, over the years, to be clear, first, so folks understand and have a clear understanding of what happened. Over the years, people can get popped for, as people say that the phrase is, people can get popped um, for whatever, a bad drug screening and things of that nature, or failing to actually adhere to a drug screening and whatnot. And folks will have that on their disciplinary record or whatever, and they don't end up getting fired. I don't know how many times there have been other wrestlers on the roster who have had multiple injunctions on their
Riddle talked about it because
Huh?
Riddle talked about it because
Yeah.
he did that. He got popped a couple of times for, he likes to indulge in the trees.
Right.
And that's when they were super strict. They're not that strict anymore. But he refused to test after a while. He's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to redo this.
Right.
Essentially what it is that, quote unquote, allegedly, just like some people at your regular job, you get popped. And you might have a homeboy, homegirl that say, hey, I'm going to retest you, and we set a date for you to retest. And you can clean your system out by the next time.
Yeah, but that's the part I wanted to get straight. That wasn't something that was necessarily said. People are intimating that. People are assuming that, but that's not necessarily what was said.
But why would you avoid the test? It's just the test.
No,
why would you? You either you knew you were gonna fail or you failed and they retested.
Delores,
either way, you're gonna get in trouble.
Delores, that's the thing. No one knows if he was even asked to take a test again, because no one knows whether or not he failed one in the first place. Is what I'm saying.
I'm saying if he didn't even fail one in the first place, the fact that you when they both sides, even Sean Ross Sapp said, they tried to communicate with him to get a test done, regardless of retest, first test, last test. He did not communicate with them. So regardless of if you retested or if you didn't want to, or you trying to jump the test the first time, why did you not communicate with them?
I mean, if it was known that he was going to be out of the country, whether or not that was known is another bit of information that's still not out there and whatnot. I'm not ever going to side with a company on the firing of an employee because they have their way of always wanting to make money. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's been
a lot of places and has had.
I'm sure
many problems.
I'm sure he has issues, but I'm not going to absolve the WWE of any wrongdoing in this matter at all.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that above all things, you did not communicate. And Andrade has a big mouth. We all know that. So if it was something where he was done wrong and he didn't do anything wrong, he would have told us by now.
Right.
All he said was thank you, WWE. That was
he said thank you to them at the end of the day. So for me, that when he came out and he thanked the company instead of burying them like he did the first time he left, that means that there was some sort of miscommunication there and whatnot. So for me,
I mean, even with the miscommunication he had the first time, he still buried them. I mean,
right? He didn't bury them on his way out this time.
He can't bury them. He needs to come back. He's hoping to come back. Okay, let's just say CMLL and AAA are with the two companies that got rid of you in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Where can you go? Or what you gonna do? Go to GCW? I don't see him as a GCW kind of guy.
He can go back.
GCW is working with WWE and AEW. So where you gonna go?
He's gonna go. He can go back to CMLL and not have an issue.
He can go back to CMLL, but they're really, really heavily working with AEW. So they're eventually gonna get to where they're like not bought out, but they're just locked in together.
Yeah, but that doesn't
they're locked in together. And if you know that they do not like this person and they're helping bring more eyes to your brand, do you hire him?
At the end of the day, that's their decision for their brand, and if they don't have to do business with. What I'm saying is that Andrade doesn't have to do business with AEW. That's my point. CMLL can hire him because not all CMLL talents end up on AEW TV. So at the end of the day, he can work there and not have any sort of a relationship with AEW. But let alone, yet again, let's always remember that it's not always a forever thing when it comes to mending fences and building relationships again between people.
But didn't he have something with CMLL too?
No, he did not. He
Because
left
I
on.
thought he rubbed somebody the wrong way down there or something like that. They said.
No. He had a bad relationship. He's always had a bad relationship with AAA. I know that for a fact.
Oh yeah, I know AAA and him don't. They don't. I mean, they ain't gonna never
No,
take it back at this point.
no, he didn't. He didn't do anything wrong with CMLL. It's that the whole guilty by association thing. You know, he's friends and family with Roosh, and Roosh doesn't have a good relationship with CMLL, but you know his individual relationship with CMLL is fine, so he should be okay.
I don't foresee him right now. I don't know. It's a lot of controversy and different things behind him. His exit in AEW wasn't the greatest, and then now he exit this way, but he's trying to cover his butt by just not being that person who's the a-hole anymore. And then you turn around and the dissolution of his marriage was in a weird way, and so that makes some. And I hate that some people on the internet blamed her for his firing. That was not the case.
That's unnecessary. That didn't have
and that's not the case. Their relationship was their relationship. She has hinted and pointed at outside things happening in her marriage. That's her marriage. I mean, she's been married before. She's had far worse things happen to her in her marriages, and she's never just came out and exposed people like that. That's not who she is.
Right.
So she's a professional. She know how to work. She know how to move on. That's it. I just hate that the internet sometimes take things to a weird place.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go way back in the playback, and we're gonna go to NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, NXT. It was a special NXT. It was NXT Homecoming on the 16th on CW. We had the WWE Women's Tag Team Title match where Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeated the Culling of Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. We had Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams get back together to defeat DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. We had WWE NXT North American title match. Ethan Page defeated Tyler Breeze. Lara Valkyria, Rhea Ripley, and Stephanie Valkyria defeated Fatal Influence of Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix. Did you see this, J News? And what did you think?
Yes, sorry about that. I did see this. So to mention this, good parts of nostalgia for those of us who watched NXT during the Black and Gold era and things of that nature. It was cool to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair go up against the newer ladies of Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. I think before the match even happened, Tatum ran into Lyra Valkyria, her white dove, at the end of the day. So that was cool to see because they never necessarily got to pay off their storyline because Lyra got called up. Trick Mellow Gang, man, it's always good to see those boys together, man. But they still beefing at the end of the day, so that's not ending anytime soon. But to see them against DIY, you can still, I got love for Trick Williams, man, but you can definitely see that Trick needs some work in the ring still till this day. Especially when it comes to veterans like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and Carmelo Hayes is on the main roster for a reason, man. But let's see if they start booking him in a way that gets the fan base behind him and has him doing some things that are of substantial value. Ethan Page versus Tyler Breeze, I thought was one. It was short. Secondarily, it didn't really do anything for me. It's always cool to see Tyler Breeze on TV because I've always been a fan of him and his in-ring work, but they didn't really do much for him here in this match. This is really more for whatever the case they thought it having to be a showcase for Ethan Page, which it shouldn't have been, but it is what it is. And then the women's six-way match went well. I thought all the ladies worked well together and things of that nature. And the right team won because there wasn't going to be any way that the younger team or the ladies who are currently in NXT were going to win that match. So there was that. The only thing that kind of had me looking sideways was the Miz appearance on NXT. But outside of that, the show.
You remember him? Where he training like Cody Back in the day on NXT, when they had like the trainers that was supposed to be training the new people.
Yeah,
Like,
he was part of
yeah,
the whole thing. He had Brian under him as well at that point in time. Brian Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, and whatnot. They did that as a level of NXT as well. It just no.
now this is what I will say about this show. First of all, I secretly wonder if Trick is coming up to the main roster because you remember DIY was together, apart, together, apart. They went up to the main roster, they came back together. So I wonder if, because Carmelo is not doing the greatest, if this is their way, because you essentially put a team who are beefing with each other together because they used to be a team, with a team who have been beefing with each other and fought each other to almost oblivion and then gotten back together. And it's like some of the little tea leaves were kind of like, oh, okay, I can see where some of the matches where it seemed like they were trying to see if you could go up. And the fact that Shawn Michaels and Triple H were there together, which Triple H barely comes to the PC like that anymore, let me know that he's checking out some people. So if he's trying to see something, this is the best way to do it, is to put old and new together, kind of test out some of the people you might want to eventually see on the main roster. For those who don't know, Triple H has been very known to keep couples together. So when it comes to for people who are like, why are you talking about the color and Tatum Paxley? Well, Tatum is a good wrestler, and Izzy dating Braun Breaker. So you move up, you might have a little something there in the women's division. As far as I really want to tell WWE, after yesterday, I'm definitely sick of these grown, it's past 7 minutes, ass men acting a damn fool when Stephanie Vaquera does the devil's kiss. It feels like they lose their mind. This NXT, what's his name? Not the boy, the man that is with Booker T. He had to take a clipboard as we looked in the background as it's happening, and Booker is quote unquote falling out, and they having to fan him as he does this every week. And it's like, Booker, get over it, sir. You're a married man with kids. I understand this is your gimmick, but you're taking this too far now. And then we had yesterday, Wade Barrett said, everybody wants a kiss from the devil. And even Michael Cole was like, what? What'd you say? It was like, come on now. I understand the move is attractive, okay? But the fact that you all act like every time it happens, she's just getting naked on screen, it's beginning to get irritating. I like the move. I find it cute. But it's the fact that they are fawning, almost slobbering every time she does this move. And then now people get online and make slow-mo videos of it. And then they put Booker's voice over top of it. It's making me irritated, J News.
I mean, the company made it that way. So at the end of the day, that's the way that they have personified the move, and they've gone with it. She doesn't mind it at the end of the day. So they're gonna ride with it until the wheels fall off. It'll die down eventually, I think.
You know what it reminds me of when they do that?
Hmm?
Jerry Lawler and the puppies. That's what it reminds me. Puppies. Yeah, every time he come out, that what it reminds me of every time she does it, and they get the fawning over her like that.
I guess so. All right, 10. I guess so. I understand the correlation.
Yeah, and now we look back at that in the moment. Even I as a kid was like, man, no matter, I grew up a tomboy. I'm gonna be honest. So it's like, oh, it's cute. Her puppies are out, whatever. But the man, you almost slobbering on yourself. Michael Cole having to pretend like he got to calm you down and fan you like they did Booker. That now I look back at it, I'm like, so that's a little creepy. Okay. I can understand you being like, oh my God, this is so hot. Da, da, da. But when y'all get the almost slobbering and fainting, it's like, okay, you're doing too much. You went a little extra. And I'm the queen of doing the extra stuff. But this is too much. Because I don't get to do this with men. I don't get to do this. I can do this with men, but I don't get to do this with men. So why do we get to do this with women?
Well, to be fair, right? I think that the reason as to why it doesn't necessarily happen with men is because they don't have female commentators. So if they ever had one of those instances where if a female commentator was fawning over one of the male performers and things of that nature, I would think that would be something that would happen on WWE.
They would have outrage at that point. They would have outrage because I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember his name right. His name is Julian, I think Hughes on TikTok.
I don't know.
He is a man of a certain persuasion who takes slow-mos of things that happen with the men and stuff in wrestling and lays like these sultry tracks over top of them. And as women, we get in the comments and we laugh. We're like, oh, okay, this is great. Never saw that. I didn't notice that until you said something. But men in the comments and men that review his channel are angry.
I mean, it goes both ways at the end of the day. I mean, to stuff like that.
I mentioned it on here, but I've never been like, oh my God, you all doing a watch along. Look how he's doing her. It's so horrible. I never would do that. But yeah, I'm like, hey, y'all tone it down. I asked y'all to tone it down, and y'all somewhat did on the close-in zooms of somebody's butt cheeks. But if you could, just tone it down. He could be hot and bothered, but he ain't got to faint. He ain't got to be almost slobbering on himself. You know, Wade Barrett ain't got to be like, Wade Barrett went from talking normal to everybody wants a devil's kiss. Nobody, you ain't got to do all that.
I mean, you know, I think they do it for the sake of entertainment at the end of the day. At least that's what their perception of it is. So, you know, to me, it's right. It's neither here nor there. I mean, the WWE's been doing this forever. I mean, it happens in most wrestling companies to a certain degree. The over sexualization of some of the female talent, right? So it just depends on what line.
The AEW, they are good for a good up close shot where I feel like I'm inside her ovaries, and I'm like, please stop, slow down, sir. I don't know, maybe you need to find somebody because this is doing too much. But even he's slacked up on that.
Yeah, no, they've definitely eased up on that, and they've never, and from a commentary perspective, they've never been.
Yeah, they've never been vulgar like that on commentary. Yeah. And you would think the company that has the allegations and things that they have against them in the lawsuits, that they would kind of tone down.
Yeah, no, they double and triple down sometimes. So it is what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go to SmackDown. SmackDown came on a little earlier this week. WWE Friday Night SmackDown came on the 19th on USA Network. It was 1361. Again, Charlotte and Alexa had to work. WWE Women's Tag Team title match. Alexa and Charlotte defended against the Green regime of Alba Fire and Chelsea Green. The Vision defeated Fraxium, so the Vision of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Y'all, for those who don't understand why I said the Vision and I named them, because if you ever notice, Seth and Becky call themselves, because they're part of the group The Vision, and I want to make sure y'all know who exactly it is. Fraxium, Axiom, and Nathan Frazier. We have for the WWE United States title match, Sami Zayn defeated Carmelo Hayes. Did you see this, Jay News, and what did you think?
I did catch what was going on SmackDown because I wanted to see how they were going to go into WrestlePalooza and things of that nature. I have a question to ask because I haven't necessarily read up on anything. Where is Kim? Where is Piper Niven at this point? I haven't seen her in a couple of weeks.
I thought she might have.
Is she hurt?
Gotten injured, but I can double check. But
Yeah,
I thought she might have gotten injured. So
because I've seen her post on social media, like doing personal stuff or whatever the case is, and taking her usual cutesy photos and all that stuff. But I haven't seen her in WWE, so I'm wondering if she's hurt or not. So I wanted to ask that just outright. But the tag match was fine between the ladies. I don't necessarily know as to what they're building towards for Alexa and Charlotte in the grand scheme of things, but we'll see as to what happens there. The Fraxium boys had a lot of juice coming into the main roster, and I feel like they've lost all that juice in recent weeks, and that probably has to do with things dying down after the multi tag team match that went down, where they didn't end up winning the tag belts and all that stuff. So the Vision here basically did a number on Fraxium, and they won over. They're being billed as the big bad bullies in the schoolyard. Carmelo Hayes versus Sami Zayn was excellent, I thought, as I know that it would be. And Sami Zayn winning his match with the Blue Thunder Bomb was just a cool thing to see, because the Blue Thunder Bomb can be used to win a match. So that was cool there. And I think they ended the show with a Cody Rhodes promo, him and Drew McIntyre going at it and things of that nature. And that was used to close out the show. There was also a segment on this show which I was not a fan of necessarily. Not necessarily a fan of, because we've seen them do this with Brock before.
Yeah.
So they're just retelling the same story. Shout out and props to Corey Graves for taking his first bump in a WWE ring in God knows how many years, after taking 2 F5s to protect Michael Cole. I'm sure that we won't see Corey Graves coming back to wrestle at any point in time in the future, but it is what it is in that particular regard. But yeah, they had the Brock Lesnar segment, him calling out John Cena, and then going into WrestlePalooza and all that jazz. So that was what it was there. But yeah, that's how I ended up with SmackDown. I think Dolores might have froze on us, folks. So that was the SmackDown overview review portion of everything. The next WWE show, I believe, that we had in store for y'all was supposed to be WrestlePalooza. I believe that Dolores did a WrestlePalooza watch along yesterday with you all. Hopefully you guys had fun and things of that nature, and enjoyed the watch along for WrestlePalooza. WrestlePalooza took place yesterday in Indianapolis, and this was the first WWE PLE on ESPN. So they had that as a big deal, quote unquote, for the WWE, and it broke down as follows. The matches happened on WrestlePalooza. Brock Lesnar defeated John Cena in a squash match, basically. We'll talk about that in a minute. The tag team match had Division, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, along with Paul Heyman, defeat the Usos of Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight was a special guest referee. WWE Women's World Title match. The Women's World Title was vacant at the moment. It had Stephanie Vaquer go one-on-one against Io Sky, where Stephanie Vaquer ended up winning the match in a terrific matchup between the two ladies. They put on quite the show, and they got a significant amount of time. So proud of the ladies for that. Proud of Stephanie Vaquer for winning the vacant WWE Women's World Title. First Latin American woman to do so in the history of WWE. So that's a big thing from a representation standpoint. Then we had the tag match there of the married folk, AJ Lee and CM Punk. They defeated Division's Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. And then we had the main event of the show, which had the undisputed WWE title being defended by Cody Rhodes against Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes ended up retaining his championship there. What were your highlights on the show here, Dolores? Because I didn't have many, but like one or two.
First of all, I flashbacks to when Bianca came out with them girls and she got stumped out at WrestleMania. That hurt my feelings. But to see John Cena, first of all, y'all were here for the watch along. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't see a nail shade of my color amongst them kids, okay? And so the fact they came out, and then they only showed the young black girl crying in the audience. After they showed a little boy crying, and I was like, Cena, I hate to say you deserve to get stomped out, but you kind of did. To see Paul and Brock again was like, yay, no. Because I did not want to see them together. The LA Knight being brought into I knew it was going to be some shenanigans. You know, you shenan once, you're going to shenan again. I love seeing Stephanie win. I really, really love that match because I think it went almost 30 minutes. You rarely see women go at it for that long in WWE. And most of any wrestling company too much. You rarely see women get a chance to just shine. And they were the only women on the match other than like the mixed tag. For those who are part of the watch along or watching the replay of it, when it comes to AJ Lee's CM Punk match, close your ears because I screamed a script when I saw her come out that I have been waiting forever. And the after show to see her and Big E together and for her to finally get back when she told Big E like how he tried to cave her sternum in by hitting her in the chest. That was just heartwarming and like because you see somebody come back you never expected to come back and you're looking at Big E and we've been hoping that he can come back and to see them together is like maybe Big E you have hope. You're like that one day things will come back. Edge has done it. Kurt Angle's done it. Steve Austin has done it. Maybe he can do it too. So that was, good to see. And Cody Rhodes. I love my man, because every time I see him, I scream, Georgia stand up. ATL, I got to do the whole thing when he comes out. And it was good to see him. But I was kind of mad during the middle of this match, J News, because they kind of, hey, Tuber Chat. Come up. Oh, I forgot to tell you all at the top of the show, and I have to remind myself. If you have a question, put the question in and put the question mark. It'll pop up in our chats with the question mark on the side of the button, so we'll know it's a question and it'll be identified. Cody has been he's had a child. He has been doing the filming and stuff like that. But they kept referring to him having a mental fatigue and a mental problem. And I'm like, no, don't confuse, and I said on live, don't confuse being physically tired as a mental problem. That don't match. The math ain't math. Especially when you have somebody who just wrestled before, who's an advocate on mental health, that you are excusing him working hard as him not being focused and having mental problems. That seems like he can't get into it. He's having some, mental things going on. Like they kept saying it like he was mentally about to snap. I don't know if that's going to be a part of the future when he turns into the bad guy. But that didn't make any sense in that moment, especially when he's like smiling and got his arms out and then he's mentally not here. And I'm like, what? Why are we talking about this? That what made me mad, J News. Because it's like, I can understand you said he's been doing a lot. He's a new father. He's physically tired. mentally he seemed to be fine. He was out here wooing and having a good time and jumping up and spinning around. But then you turn around and say he has a mental thing, and it's like, I don't see it, I don't feel it. Maybe he's tired. He's physically tired, especially when Brock was beating him down. They mentioned it, and I'm like, he is physically worn out and beat up. Doesn't have anything with. We don't see his mental now, unless they trying to tell us something. We don't see his mental. Why are we mentioning this?
I mean, to be fair, if you're talking about Cody,
yeah,
okay, because I didn't watch WrestlePalooza. I just watched the highlights last night and whatnot. I didn't watch the show because I wasn't interested in watching the show at all outside of the ladies match, and it's news to me that they've been announcing or just talking about Cody's mental health and whatever space he might be in mentally and things of that nature. I was not aware that Brandy was pregnant and that she had a baby. So congratulations to Cody on the second baby, and Cody and Brandy on the second baby.
I would word it.
Huh?
I would word it. I tell people like this. I would word it as they had a child. Now, if you go back months before, they were drinking shots on the bus, and she has had pictures, but not obvious. But I would just say they had a baby because.
Okay, so is the cases that they went with a surrogate?
They haven't said yet. That's why I said they had a baby.
I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's either way, they're new parents at the end of the day. You know, I wasn't aware of one that, and then secondarily that they were mentioning anything having to do with Cody's mental health. Like you said, Delores, being physically tired is one thing, right? And having any sort of mental health issues is something else. But always keep in mind and be mindful of the fact that the majority of the time we'll never necessarily know if somebody's going through any sort of issue.
That's why I was like, that was the weird thing. Is like when they started with the mental fatigue, his mental's not there. He's going through a lot mentally, and I'm looking at them like, what the is that? First of all, this is a man he's faced many times before. Second of all, the match was put together. He didn't have to do the match. He asked for the match. So what kind of fatigue was he in? He comes out here and like that irritated me so bad because you let AJ cut a promo where she talked about mental health and all the rest of the things, and you have them, and then you come out and feel like you're playing in my face, and that irritated me because I'm like, you should know better. He could be physically, even if he's mentally tired. If that's something that we talk about on WWE during the middle of a match. Like, I don't know if this is going to be like his new version of Bailey, where he ends up snapping and he turns into the bad guy. I don't know. But right now, you haven't laid a pathway for that to happen. And telling this story in the middle of this match did not do anything for me. Cody does Cody. He does weird stuff. Also, I'm getting sick of Drew complaining, and y'all gave him another reason to complain. Because they got on the outside, as you all know. The break he had to take when he was quote unquote injured was because Drew took his head through the front of the announce table. Cody was in the same position. He went to go take his head off. The referee said, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. They claimed, again, then we're going to the mental health stuff, that the referee was traumatized from what happened before. And he must have just mentally flashed back to that moment, and he couldn't let Cody be hurt like this. So he got in between them and told Drew not to do it. But Drew slightly pushed him to the side, went to do the Claymore on and put his head through the announce table. Cody moves out the way. He goes straight through the announce table and begins to clutch his leg and scream about he's hurting. Then he couldn't stand up correctly. Then he was hurt. Then Cody went for a Cody cutter, got a Glasgow kiss, and as Drew went to do the Claymore, he ran, his leg gave up. And then Cody proceeded to Cody cut him. Not Cody, yeah, I think Cody cut him and then started doing the crossroads over and over again. And then after the match, the little thing that the announcer said was, now Drew got something to complain about else. They were like, why did the referee get involved? He got something else to complain about. And then as Drew is outside, he is literally getting his leg and feet worked on. Like, they don't took the boot off and everything. So I don't know if it was a fake injury or if he really got hurt, because, you know, normal times they lay there, they just check their leg, they get up and walk away. He literally took his shoe off, they were showing his socks. He was screaming and grabbing his leg. I don't know. I hope he's okay. But it was just like, it was just so weird. And then they went into the flashback and the traumatized. And I was just like, you know what? I'm beginning to see a pattern. Bailey has went crazy. AJ is crazy. It's naturally her superpower. You got Cody, who's having mental struggles and mental fatigue, and a referee who is traumatized. I don't know what to say. Also, I needed somebody to understand that you don't need a wide shot for everything. So as CM Punk, who had been injured outside of the ring, is laying on the ground and his wife is giving the comeback, you wide shot to him doing this, J News. Cheering his wife on. I said, you didn't need that wide shot, sir. You could have kept that to yourself. Made me think he hurt on the outside. Just like when AJ bounced through the table and he went to go check on him, they zoomed in on him to make sure he checked on his wife. Some things you ain't got to record. I liked some of the matches. The last three. The first two I could have been without. Also, Paul Heyman, if you're going to do your Brock Lesnar intro, don't do it differently. You know, when he gets to the point, he's like, Brock Lesnar. And he was like, Brock the GOAT. And he just started naming other stuff. And I was like, man, Brock, why are we changing stuff? I definitely was not. I was happy overall because in my mind, I'm going to be honest with you all, I set the bar low. Okay, it was almost in hell. It went above that, and so I have to get up credit for that in my mind. Other than that, I could have did without WrestlePalooza like this. But if you all do not know, for those who don't know, AAA will be on YouTube. Main roster programming will be on ESPN Unlimited. For those who don't know, if you got ESPN Plus in the bundle package of your Hulu, $8 upgrade, you on Unlimited. Okay? So that's what I did. I just went up there. Come to find out, I think I already had it, but I just went up $8. So, and next week when we do No Mercy, that will be on Peacock. So NXT is on Peacock, main roster is on ESPN, AAA is on YouTube. All righty. So if you all do not remember those three things, and also remember, every week, weekly WWE programming is on Netflix, CW, USA. They just hitting every social platform there is, J News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to the next thing. AEW, the J News style, because I saw some of this and some of this I do not remember. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW 311 on the 17th on TBS HBO Max. It was September to remember. Jon Moxley defeated Roderick Strong. Bobby Lashley defeated Toa Liona. For the AEW World Tag Team title eliminator match, Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson defeated the Bang Bang Gang of Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson. We had an AEW Unified title, AEW International title, AEW Continental title. Oh, Jesus, why don't you just put it all together? I mean, not put it all together, but just stop with this. Okay. Eliminator match. Mascara Dorada defeated the Beast Mortos. We had a no holds barred match with Thekla defeated Queen Aminata. I think I like this match the most out of all of them. Jay News, did you see it and what did you think?
I think there's some of the matches that are missing here for the entire show. But that is what it is. I think it was a strong go home show overall. It was September to Remember. It was a 3-hour block for AEW. Since there was no separate episode of Collision on Saturday that was airing.
We'll talk about the 2 Collision shows back to back when we get to it.
Well, the Collision show happened. There was an hour of for those folks who watch AEW on HBO Max. The third hour of the September to Remember event was under the category of Collision on HBO Max. So that happened to me. I was watching the first 2 hours of Dynamite, and it aired as Dynamite, and then it went off the air. And then subsequently, thankfully, somebody who runs the streaming component on HBO Max, they put the Collision icon up as something else, what was coming up next to watch. So I clicked on that and it automatically clicked over to the next hour. But it took like several minutes for that to pop up after the show was over. So I joined the third hour of the September to Remember event on a couple of minutes delay. But to talk about the show, Jon Moxley going one-on-one against Roderick Strong. I thought it was a good opener between Roderick Strong and Jon Moxley. It was interesting to see the dynamic between Roderick Strong and Jon Moxley and see how that was going to go about. The match went the way I thought it was going to go. They finally had Roderick Strong interact with his wife, Marina Shafir, which was, for short, it was lovely, as I like to say, because you can tell that Marina Shafir loves her husband. At the end of the day, she couldn't help but smile at him when they were supposed to be jaw-jacking with one another. And Danny Garcia was at ringside along with Kyle O'Reilly. So there's that part of it. There's beef between the Paragon, the conglomeration, and the Death Riders and things of that nature, and that's going to continue on this week going into Dynamite. Bobby Lashley versus Toa Liona was one hell of a meat man match. They beat the crap out of each other. It's the best I've ever seen Bobby Lashley and Toa Liona look as individual wrestlers on AEW TV. I would say for folks who have been looking to watch a good hard-hitting Bobby Lashley match, to go out and watch that against Toa Liona. And Toa Liona definitely showed out here in his match versus Bobby Lashley. This was to close out or to the go home angle for the trios match that was happening on All Out this Saturday against the Hurt Syndicate, and now the trio known as the Demand, which is GOA, the Gates of Agony, and Ricochet. AEW World Tag Team Eliminator match. Hell of a match between the Young Bucks and the Bang Bang Gang. I want to say this because it rings true. Any members of the Bang Bang Gang, when they get together as a tag team, they're strong, man. Be it the Guns as brothers, they're a strong tag team. Juice and Jay White, they're a strong tag team. And any iteration of those guys together are a real strong tag team. And I want to give the Bang Bang Gang props for always making things look seamless in the ring, and obviously giving props to the Young Bucks as well, one of the greatest tag teams in the last 20 years in professional wrestling. So this was a really, really good match. The Bucks ended up winning out. So they were the last team that was added. No, they were the second to last team being added to the four-way ladder match at All Out for the AEW Unified Title. Eliminator match. Mascara Dorada defeated the Beast Mortos in one hell of a lucha match. I knew that they were going to put on a show and definitely have the fans enthralled with their lucha machinations, and that's exactly what they did. Mascara Dorada won out, as I thought that he would, and he was the last entrant or the last competitor put into the Unified Title triple threat match that happened in All Out. We then have the no holds barred match between Thekla and Queen Aminata. Those girls beat the crap out of each other. In that no holds barred match, they do not hold back against one another. They get completely physical. They hit each other hard. and it's always cool to see those two girls go at it because they have quite the chemistry. Tekla went out here, being that Tekla was part of the 4-way women's world title match at All Out, so that left that there. And then the third hour of September to Remember went into the next part of it. So the third hour of September to Remember had the AEW World Tag Team Eliminator match, the last one, which had the team of Jet Speed, that's Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, go up against Killswitch and Kip Sabian. And Jet Speed defeated that team. By the end of this match, Killswitch left Kip Sabian hanging to dry because Kip Sabian kept mistreating Killswitch, aka Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus then walked away, went away, left Kip Sabian hanging there. Jet Speed ended up winning that match. Jet Speed went on to be the last team to be a part of the AEW World Tag Team title 4-way ladder match at All Out. Riho defeated Robin Renegade in a very short match. They didn't really give the ladies much time to do much here in the third hour. I thought I was surprised to see Robin Renegade in the gear that she was in, because I was so used to seeing her in the black top and black jeans and black boots and stuff like that, and she was in very colorful ring gear. It was something different. And for the time that she got in there with Riho, she looked really, really good. I'm not too sure if they're actually going to build towards this eventual faction that people kept on talking about for months and months and months, or rumored about online, where the Renegade Twins would eventually join up with Mercedes Moné and things of that nature. So we'll see if any of that develops this week on Dynamite or Collision. But Riho defeated Robin Renegade here. Mercedes was at ringside, basically scouting Riho and things of that nature, and that walked on into what was their match on All Out. And then for the AEW World Tag Team Eliminator match, we had the last team that qualified, which was Hechicero and Josh Alexander of the Don Callis family. They defeated Top Flight of Dante and Darius Martin, and they closed out the show for September to Remember after this match was over, with Kyle Fletcher beating down Hangman Adam Page, who came down to save on the young men and members of Top Flight and things of that nature. And Kyle Fletcher had his way with Hanger, and that was the go home angle for the pay-per-view. And that was the end of September to Remember on that 3 hour block on Wednesday night.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go to ROH, Ring of Honor 134 on the 18th. You can find it on ROHWrestling.com or the app. Mystic Cole defeated Man. Because sometimes people like to get special scenes. GCW definitely is for that. Defeated Viva Van. We had the Beast Mortos defeat Allen Angels in a match that I did not need for 1 minute and 52 seconds. Pure Rules match. We had Katsuri Shibata defeat Matt Mako. We had the Death Riders of Marina Shavir and Willa Yuta defeat Aaliyah James and Man Like Doris, who was wrestling this weekend. We'll talk about him later. Satnam Singh defeated CPA.
I can never tell.
Hold on. CPA in a minute. I swear this phone is killing me today, J News. In 1 minute and 7 seconds. We had Pure Rules match of Yukua. That's J News word.
It's Yuka Sakazaki.
I don't know why I want to pronounce it something else, and I've pronounced it 29 times on this channel. Defeating Janai Kai. We had the ROH World 6-man tag team title match. Shane Taylor Productions. I want to give them a big up. Defeating AR Fox and the Kingdom of Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. I saw some of these matches because I get to see the results before I watch them. And so I would like to say the only match that I was slightly looking forward to and excited about and that I completely watched through I watched the Mystical Mansoor match. I watched the Viva Van match because I love Viva Van. But when I watched the Beast Mortus and Alan Angels match, I was more like disappointed. I would say these short matches, they do a lot of promos. These short matches are, you get into it and then next thing you know, it cuts off. And that's my problem with ROH. But did you watch it, J News?
I got to the highlights of some of this stuff. Jesus Christ, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on one second. Dolores. Let me see some here. No, that's not. Nope, and nope. All right, never mind. So the matches that I caught from the ROH show, I caught the Olympia versus Viva Van match. I really liked that match. Olympia is not necessarily her luchadora name. I forget what her name is in the lucha circuit. I was trying to look it up right now, but nothing came up. Something else came up, so I'm not gonna necessarily bog down on that too much. As like you, Dolores, I was disappointed in the Beast Mortals versus Alan Angels match. This is the first time we've seen Alan Angels back on AEW, any sort of AEW/ROH TV in a couple of years since he's been over on TNA. For this to be 1 minute and 52 seconds was it sucked. It was lackluster at the end of the day. So that's that. Matt Mako, longtime friend and confidant of Wheeler Yuta here on the East Coast. For those folks who like the Indies here on the Pennsylvania Jersey area, Katsuyori Shibata had his way with Wheeler Yuta's old tag team partner there. It's been a while since we've seen Marina Shafir in any sort of action on ROH TV. It was interesting to see the Brit legend, man like Doris, on ROH TV, teaming up with one of my favorites in the young lady of Aaliyah James, which this has been her, I don't know, like 6th, 7th time participating on ROH. So it seems like Tony as in Tony Khan, seems to have taken some sort of a liking to Aaliyah James, to have her continue to come back to ROH. So that might be a good sign for her in the future. But the Death Riders run there. Didn't watch the Satnam Singh thing. Yuka Sakazaki and Janai Kai, hard hitting. Those two young ladies went at it. They kicked the crap out of each other. Janai Kai also getting a lot of love on ROH TV as of late, especially through the segment where ROH/AEW was doing all the shows in Philly. She's an East Coast based girl. I think she's from the New York area, if I'm not mistaken. So we saw a lot of her during those weeks in Philly, and she had a good match here with Yuka Sakazaki, and it was the first time that we had seen Yuka in a long time, either be on ROH or AEW TV. And always shouts to the boys from STP, because they always are super entertaining, and they work like a well-oiled machine. The only thing I would have to say is that I'm just not a big fan of this nomad persona that AR Fox has going on, where he's like just teaming with any random body. I think you need to get AR Fox affiliated with one certain group at some point, and have him build character and depth from there. Him having a team with all these different likes and sorts of people is just like, he's just a throw-in at this point. I think that there needs to be some respect put on AR Fox's name.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's better than what it used to be. It's not a picnic, it's just a jog. And sometimes the jog, you might step on a rock and fall. But it was overall okay. J News, we're going to go on to the second collision right before the pay-per-view. It was called, let me get back to it, Saturday Tailgate Brawl All Out. I don't know why they still call it 111 when they had 111 the day before, But ladies and gentlemen, you have the Ops of Powerhouse Hobbs and Samoa Joe defeat the Work Horsemen of Anthony Henry and JD Drake. Daniel Garcia defeated Katsuyori Shibata. Hologram and Paragon of Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong defeated the Frat House of Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, and Preston Vance. I'm sick of that team right now. I'm sorry. I couldn't even hold it. With an 8-man tag, tornado tag, tailgate brawl match. And that was with Holly Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale defeating Megan Bain, Penelope Ford, and the Sisters of Sin, Julia Hart and Sky Blue. J News, did you see this and what did you think of it?
I saw parts of it. I'll admit I was a little confused as to what was going on yesterday with the streaming component of AEW. I'm always very used to watching all the 0 hour stuff on YouTube. Not to say that it wasn't on there. 0 hour was on YouTube, but 0 hour was a pre-taped promo bit between Renee Paquette and RJ City and Bryan Danielson. At the end of the day, it didn't have the usual matches on 0 hour, so that went on for an hour and some change on YouTube. And then the Saturday tailgate brawl, All Out, as Dolores has it here, that happened on HBO Max. So when I switched over to HBO Max, I had already missed the match with the Ops and the Workhorsemen. I took an interest in wanting to watch that match because I wanted to see how Anthony Henry looked, but I didn't get a chance to see that, so I got to go back and watch it. Daniel Garcia versus Katsuyori Shibata was exactly what I thought it was going to be. A hard-hitting affair between the two of them. Daniel Garcia showing his more violent, more vicious side against Katsuyori Shibata, and Shibata still laying it into Daniel Garcia. So Daniel Garcia still got some learning to do at the end of the day on how to be more vicious and how to be more violent. But good win for him nonetheless. Obviously, with him now being a part of the Death Riders. I missed this 6-man tag because I wanted to go get something to eat at this point. The only thing that I was interested in seeing was to see if they were going to follow up on this whole clone thing for Hologram. They did the second or two glitch during the backstage promo with Hologram and the Paragon, but nothing necessarily happened during the match. But they defeated the Frat House Boys easily in that estimation. And the women's 8 women tag match, the tornado match, it was wild, it was crazy, it was fun. No, the girls weren't bleeding or anything like that, so folks don't have to worry about it being super violent and whatnot. The girls just had fun beating the crap out of each other for the most part. And I have a feeling that I know as to what Tony Khan's big announcement on Wednesday is going to be, as much as anyone else does. Hopefully the big announcement is going to be for those AEW Women's Tag Team Championships and stuff like that, and him creating a tournament for it. So hopefully that comes to pass on Wednesday night on Dynamite, and that be Tony Khan's big announcement. If not, then I guess we'll hold out and whatnot. But the reason as to why I'm saying that is because not for the first time, but I think more from a show labeling standpoint, it was the first time the commentary referenced Julia Hart and Sky Blue as the Sisters of Sin. So them having an actual tag name to me was like a breadcrumb and signaling that we might be seeing those AEW Women's Tag Team belts coming sooner rather than later. But yeah, that was the tailgate brawl for All Out.
Yes. Now it's time to get into the main event. All Out, ladies and gentlemen. All Out was on the 20th on HBO Max / your pay-per-view provider. Ladies and gentlemen, it started off with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage defeating FTR of Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. We had Eddie Kingston defeat Big Bill. We had a tables and tax match where Mark Briscoe defeated MJF. We had the Demand, Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Lioa defeat the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. We had AEW TBS title match where Mercedes Moné retained her championship against Riho. We had AEW Unified title, International title, Continental title, three-way match where Kazuchika Okada made it rain, where he defeated Konosuke Takeshita and Mascara Dorada. We had a coffin match where Jon Moxley defeated Darby Allin. For the AEW Women's World title four-way match, Chris Statlander defeated the former champion Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, and Thekla. We had for the AEW Tag Team title four-way ladder match, Bandito, which is Bandito and Brody King, defeat Jet Speed of Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and the Don Callis family of Hechicero, Josh Alexander, and the Bucks of Matt and Nick Jackson. AEW World Title match, Adam Page defeated Kyle Fletcher. I know you saw this, J News. What did you think?
I did see this. I chose to watch AEW All Out over WrestlePalooza just because I prefer the AEW product over the WWE product at this point. And it was earlier during the day too. So the show started at 3, so it was cool because by the time it was 9:30 p.m., everything was done for the pay-per-view. That was because I ended up watching the media scrum for another hour and a half after that. But Adam Copeland and Christian Cage defeating FTR was, to me, that was expected. What I didn't expect was what happened during the match. We got I believe to be, it's not confirmed or not, I believe to be a one and done appearance from Adam Copeland's lovely wife, Beth, formerly known as Beth Phoenix, introduced to the AEW faithful as Beth Copeland. She came out to run interference on a then interfering Stokely Hathaway. She carried him out via fireman's carry style. She carried him out.
That was hilarious. I totally enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a cool moment. She came in guns a-blazing and stuff like that. And then after she put Stokely down in the back, she came back out to help Christian and Cope. After Christian and Cope won the match, we had young Nick Wayne being rolled out in a wheelchair by his mama. And Kip Sabian, for a quick moment, was conspicuous by his absence. He then Kip Sabian, that is, came out from the crowd, went into the ring, and he helped FTR continue to beat down Cope and Christian. After Cope and Christian had won the match, they handcuffed Cope to one of the ring ropes. They continued to beat down Christian. When Beth came back down to the ring, she saw that she wasn't able to get Cope out of the handcuffs from the ring ropes, and Christian was still getting his ass beat by the rest of the guys. She gave her husband a real long kiss, and she went on to try to beat down the boys from the FTR, but they were able to grab her up and give her the stuck pile driver. After that, Christian was down, everybody was down, and Cope had to get cut out with I forget what the name of the actual tool is, but they cut the handcuffs off of Cope. He went to go aid his wife and his tag team partner who were beat down and left laying there. So the feud between FTR and Copeland and Cage is going to continue on. I don't necessarily know if we're going to see Beth again on AEW television. To be quite honest, I think it was a one and done deal. But if she does come back, I think it'll be good. If she does get involved with AEW in any way, I think it's only going to be a positive. Not just as a talent, but just as a person who's been in the business for a long time. She can definitely, if she wants to, she can definitely help out with the women's division and help some of the girls along the way. There, Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill. I was worried about this match from the outset. Not because I thought that Eddie Kingston was going to have ring rust. It was more or less the style. The styles between Eddie Kingston and Big Bill just don't jive together well for me and from a preference standpoint, and it showed in this match. Yeah, Eddie had a little ring rust and stuff like that. Yeah, the finish looked like it didn't gel well for this match, but Eddie Kingston ended up getting the win, as most of us thought. So we're just glad to have Eddie back at the end of the day. So that was what that was. The tables and tax match. I did not expect the tables and tax match to be what it was, because I wasn't necessarily invested in the storyline. I didn't like the build to this match, because the reason as to why I didn't like the build to this match is simple. Me, myself, the individual, I'm tired of the MJF shtick. I don't feel like his character has evolved much. He continues to do the same thing. I know it works for mostly everybody still, but it just doesn't work for me as much anymore. I'm glad that Mark Briscoe was able to get the win in this match. This match was violent. There were thumbtacks all over the ring, placed in the ring before the bell even rang. Tables were placed outside of the ring, and this match was just violent. There was a lot of back and forth. MJF, I cannot take anything away from MJF from a wrestling standpoint. What MJF did this weekend between Aniversario for CMLL on Friday, and then here at All Out on Saturday for Mystico and Mark Briscoe. The dude is hella talented in the ring. I'm never going to take anything away from MJF there. He's a hell of a performer. I just don't like the character shtick of MJF, but he did a hell of a job here. Hell of a performance by Mark Briscoe and MJF. Props to those guys there for that. The Demand, who were labeled The Demand, Bishop Khan, Ricochet, and Toa Leona, defeated the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. As we know, MVP is usually the mouthpiece for the Hurt Syndicate. He doesn't necessarily wrestle very often. He eventually was isolated away from Shelton and Bobby, and they worked him over. They worked his knee over and things of that nature, did the boys from The Demand, and they were able to get the win by isolating MVP essentially and getting the pin on MVP to get the win there. I thought that the next match, Mercedes Moné versus Riho, Mercedes retaining her TBS title, I thought that this match was fantastic, but the fans were not into the match. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues from one of the other podcasts, and I texted him and I was like, dude, is there something wrong with the audio? Because for the last couple of matches, it seems like the crowd's been dead. And he was like, I think the crowd's been dead since the Mark Briscoe MJF match. So that was his sense of it all. Because I thought the match between Mercedes and Riho was excellent. I thought the ladies did their damn thing in this match, and they got good time for it as well. But the fans, it was like crickets in there, and I was not happy with that.
After me, I can understand why, because I was crickets fan. When I did watch these couple of matches, I was crickets. You telling me Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin lost to Ricochet, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan? You mean the same Toa Leona and Bishop Khan that I've been watching get dog walked over there in ROH? These are the same people they lost to? Yeah. That made me mad. Then you get to Mercedes Moné. I ain't had no hope in Rio. I just really didn't.
No, but I don't think
it's just like the match is good, yes, but I want to at least feel like there's a chance, a chance. She got a chance, you know. Back in the day with that Rey Mysterio, like you never know. They
did a horrible job building that match. I definitely agree with you there, Delores. They did a horrible job building that match. People went into that match not believing in Riho, but like to the point that I was trying to make is that this show all overall was built more for the match qualities than the builds and the stories going into them. But they did a horrible job building the story behind Riho and Mercedes and stuff like that. Even though Mercedes did her best.
Did J News freeze?
Even though, we're back now. To finalize the Riho versus Mercedes bit, like I said, the match was terrific. They had a horrible build to it. That's on creative. That's on the booking team. So
but also at this point, with her having so many championships and she being so dominant, do we like? It has to be. This was the opportunity that you could have shocked the world. And Riho took a championship for her, and it started her spiral.
Yeah, I I think
that's what we really wanted. But the fact that it was no build, and then you sitting there and you're like, oh, okay, I had no faith in it, and I'm like, okay, no offense, but Mercedes, you have good matches. So you've had some horrible ones at AEW, but most of all, you have good matches overall. So I know you're gonna have a good match. I know this girl ain't gonna win. You got all these titles. You shouldn't be walking around just beating everybody nilly-willy. I hate to say it because I love the man, but I hate the story that he told. It's almost like Roman Reigns when he's up at collecting Xfinity Stones on his hand and just being like, ha! And we already just knew who was gonna win as soon as somebody was facing.
Right. I think from a timing standpoint, they need to get it together with Mercedes and stuff like that and start doing things that are going to be substantial points to her story at this point. I think they've been slow walking it the last couple of matches where she's barely able to get the win against these opponents. But it's going too slow at this point. They have to start the cascade. It doesn't have to be a precipitous fall. It doesn't have to be a quick fall, but it doesn't have to be slow like it is either right now. They got to pick up the pace for Mercedes storyline and stuff like that and have her start losing these belts in order for people to start to care, because this is going to lose. People are going to lose interest if all she's going to do is continue to win. They need to have her lose to a significant opponent. I think my personal opinion is Delores is that I think Tony Khan has somebody in mind. I just don't know if that somebody is necessarily healthy right now.
You can't keep building stories around people that either A are not there, B are injured, or because then it makes us be like,
I agree with you.
What is the point? And then we don't never get a payoff. I mean, we waited for a long time for Thunder Rosa to come back. Mm-hmm. He deliberately puts out this behind the scenes show where we see that they do not get along. That you don't, even with Triple H, you don't put out behind the scenes stuff if you don't feel like it could be used in a storyline for later. And we didn't get a payoff. We didn't get a payoff with Big Swole and Britt at all either. We've seen so many stories he builds up. Even the whole Young Bucks and Adam Page and the rest of that, we still ain't really too much touched on that. Listen, Kenny Omega, they let him buckshot Larry you, and they just stood there. They didn't interfere. And then it just like, it disappeared. I understand Kenny was hurt, but it disappeared. He come back. They friends. And it's like, okay, well, can we do we were planning on BTE that he knew about this, that he might find out about this. They did a whole month's worth of maybe he will, maybe he won't. They had like things where they felt like, what was it? The like reincarnation, where like he might have found out, but he pretended like he didn't and kept being friends with them. But it never paid off.
Yeah.
I'm like, at a certain point, things got to click together. Sometimes even the outside promos and storylines they're doing ain't clicking with what's going on in the ring.
I think that, it's more or less from a personality standpoint. I think TK as in Tony Khan is a little bit too stubborn at times when it comes to what it is that he wants to do from a storyline perspective. He sticks to his guns too much. And there has to be more adaptability along the way when it comes to certain things, because a lot of the time the timing is just off and certain things take too long, or to your point, Delores, things don't get paid off, and that's just not a satisfying way to watch pro wrestling in that sense. The next match I thought was going to be the match of the night, and for me, it's the cold match of the night, the AEW United title triple threat match. Okada, Takeshita, and Máscara Dorada. Máscara Dorada went out of his way to put on a show for the folks in the arena and those of us watching on TV. That dude was the real MVP of that match. But for us to continue to get these rising tensions between Takeshita and Okada is going to culminate in probably one of the biggest one-on-one matchups we've seen in current wrestling in current wrestling history. I for one agree with the lovely lyric on Twitter, where I feel like Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada needs to take place in Japan. How they do that, how it all comes about, I don't know, but that's what needs to happen. Necessarily.
Well, they can have a one-on-one, and let's just say Konosuke either wins or loses. You have the rubber band match in New Japan, and I don't know what pay-per-view you would put it in, because I'm not thinking of any big giant pay-per-views except for the top of the year.
Yeah, I think
and so
I think that's
unless they fight each other, they find other people to fight with, and it's just it can build. You can kick the can down the road. Somebody could get injured from one of the other persons. I mean, we played that storyline with Kazuchika and Brian, where essentially he, quote unquote, injured him so bad he had to take time off. But he was injured, but take time off and then come back and the rivalry still goes. You can still do that type of stuff.
Yeah, but they like you were saying before, when it came to the ladies as well, and other storylines before Dolores, they can't take too much time dilly-dallying with this stuff. They got to pull the trigger. I think during Wrestle Kingdom season, I'm not sure that this will happen at Wrestle Kingdom itself, just because of the way that Okada left New Japan. But maybe whatever AEW show is happening in Japan at that point in time, they do Takeshita versus Okada over there.
I'm trying to see the next get together.
We'll see how that all breaks down. The coffin match versus Jon Moxley and Darby Allin was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Just a violent affair, a bloody affair between the two of them. Jon Moxley winning made the most sense, just because Darby just came back from his ascent to Mount Everest and things of that nature, and it's been a start and stop type deal with Darby and John with their most current feud. I understand that they've had matches in throughout the 6-year history of AEW, but with the most current feud, I don't think that this coffin match is going to be the blow-off match. John won. They put Darby in the coffin. The entire Death Riders team basically did a funeral procession walk of the coffin to the back of
that was just like, that felt like Undertaker style. I was like, come on now, we can do better than this. They
took him back there and they laid him down, and then later on in the show, I think it was after the women's match, we got a backstage camera setup where Jon Moxley and the Death Riders were basically riding off to get out of the arena. Darby Allin was still in the coffin. Darby Allin pops open the coffin, sticks Jon Moxley with this lead pipe that he had, eventually puts Jon Moxley in a body bag and burns the body bag. Jon Moxley getting burned in a body bag. I don't know why Jon Moxley agreed to that, but he did. To not miss during the Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin match, in the coffin match, the reason as to why John won wasn't because the rest of the Death Riders interfered in the match. We got the return of the PAC of Pac, my main man Jordan Neville. He came back, he kicked Darby's head off at the end of the day, and that's how they were able to get the win over Darby there. The AEW Women's World Title 4-way match. I thought this match was running at 100 miles an hour, but I also feel like the match didn't get enough time. I feel like they kicked it into second gear by the time that Chris Statlander won the belt. And I feel like this match didn't get enough time. It was a surprise. It was a shock that Chris Statlander won. I am not mad that Chris Statlander won. I've always been a fan of Stat Daddy. I believe that she deserves it, just like the crowd chanted to her that she deserves it at the end of the day. We're going to see Toni Storm descend into even more madness. I don't know what happens with Jamie Hayter and Tekla from here, per se. But we'll see as things develop on Dynamite, and then the 4-way ladder match, the tag team 4-way ladder match. It was incredible, man. Both in WWE and in AEW, anytime this stuff happens, like those tag teams just go for it, man. And they killed it here. And I thought that Brodito was going to retain. They did retain, and things of that nature. By the end of the match, after the match was over, Matt and Nick Jackson were attacked by a returning Jack Perry. They as in the Jackson brothers, the Young Bucks, were able to get the upper hand on Jack Perry. They were about to set up for the BTE trigger. Jack Perry then had that sly smile on his face. The lights went out, and then the Luchasaurus came back. They played this nice video montage of how about how Jack Perry resuscitated Luchasaurus and things of that nature. Luchasaurus came out, kicked the heads off of the Young Bucks, and a boy and his diner store were reunited. And the Tarzan.
I died laughing because I was like, what was the reason? What was the reason? Can we figure out the reason? He turned heel. Mm-hmm. He felt himself. Listen, and I'm gonna give you the perspective of a CM Punk fan. Okay, he turned heel. He felt himself. He had an argument with your top star, who had been already arguing, fighting with people. They have a little altercation. You feel like your back is against the wall, and you're looking at the future of your company, and you send this man on his way, which he is providing. Regardless if the match was trash, people showed up for him and his wife, who hadn't wrestled in a combined like 17, 18 years. And then you turn around and you ride your horse on this man who cannot provide this character, the thing that you thought he could. And now he is back to being the person that he should have always been. Because we haven't changed Hook. Hook is still Hook. Hook has been Hook the whole time. But we had to change this boy from being not a boy, this man, from being a handsome devil, sly face, cute, relatable, childlike figure into this evil person who did not work out. You sent him to New Japan, it still didn't work out. And then now you have changed him back to his regular character. And in the midst of that, you tarnished two characters. You tarnished Jungle Boy and you tarnished Luchasaurus. Because Luchasaurus, to me, hadn't did anything since he's been with Jungle Boy. Like, they haven't been good since they've been together.
I'm sorry for the feedback there. I would say that with Jack, they were definitely trying something with Jack. They wanted to try something new. It didn't work. To your point, Dolores, it didn't work. Unfortunately, I think the first month or two after the whole CM Punk thing happened and how they built the scapegoat character, especially between AEW and New Japan, that seemed to hit a certain ceiling. And then it all went downhill from there. And things just didn't go well for Jack from a character standpoint.
You know what? I think what did him this service was that tape. We had an ideal in our head from what Tony Khan mentioned, from what, not mentioned, but what quote unquote he had said around, from what people around had said and reported. It was CM Punk, one person. Because even I was like, man, you did too much. CM Punk, one person versus 50 people. And if you, let's be honest. If 50 children, if you're in charge of 60, let's just say you're in charge of 51 children, and one child says, this child hit me, and we had to tussle. And then the other 50 kids say, no, he started it. Who are you going to believe? And we all thought that poor innocent Jack, he was just standing there and he got, railroaded and Tony, he was attacked and it was just like, oh my God. And then Tony puts out the tape and we looking at him and Jack is talking his smack. I mean, I give him credit for that. If you gonna talk smack to me, I'm gonna talk smack back. You know what I'm saying? And they get into it. You do not look like the hero. And Tony, you come out to be what you call being attacked as a monitor falling in your lap. Now, you could be scared because you are a slim man. And I don't think you can take too many people out. So you could have been scared, but that wasn't an attack on you. So then it makes us look at, then Jack comes out, he's the scapegoat. he actually does the glass spot, you know, eventually down the line. He's like, oh, you know, he's still mentioning it. It's like y'all tried to make profit off what happened, but what it did was it backfired. The tape coming out wasn't that great because literally there is on TikTok a video where people put together of what CM Punk said on an interview with Ariel Helwani and the videotape, and they are happening like it almost seemed like he was sitting there saying word for word what happened. And that's not helping your company. That's my problem with TK. You don't think long term. You look at this video and you look what this man said on this interview. You trying to combat the interview. But what he said looked like he was looking at the tape and saying it. That makes it look bad. It makes the person look bad. It makes people look bad. And I hate to say it. Even with Sammy, you do not pick the people who you need to move on forward with the company. Chris Jericho, you've given him too much control. You give the wrong people control. And then you sit around and you let the Bucks pick him. Pick him to be the scapegoat and to be with them. Now they've been telling this story. If you haven't watched BTE, they've been telling this story about him coming back for weeks.
Yeah. They have been telling that story for weeks, and him.
It's not on camera. I need to see it on AEW Dynamite. If I'm a casual fan, I'm not searching for BTE on my YouTube.
Now, hold on, Dolores. Let's be realistic here. The way AEW started based on BTE. The hardcore AEW fan has been looking forward to a return of BTE for years now. And now that we've gotten it, we're shortened episodes and things of that nature over the last 3 to 4 weeks. BTE was used as a vehicle to create and enhance the stories that were going on TV. So for folks to get a taste of that come back now, I think one is a positive thing for AEW in general, because it'll help enhance the stories on TV. And the Bucks now being back in charge of BTE is a positive, because that went to the wayside whenever the exchange happened and all that stuff.
Imagine a new person to AEW, you new to wrestling, and you're watching this man come back. You don't know why he came back, why he left, what happened in between. You just kind of like, oh, he shows up, he disappears, whatever like that. You need some kind of like story to it.
Yeah, but they'll do that. They'll do that.
He gives it to you, but it doesn't give it to you. There probably were fans in the stands who like, I just started watching AEW. Who is this man right here? Right. I like to have that moment with people when I try to, even when I do watch-alongs, explain to people some of the backstory of like, even with CM Punk, it's like, okay, he got fired on wedding day. You know, this. His wife left eventually. She had, you know, she's an advocate for bipolar and this and that. And get to know, but that's something that not everybody has somebody to give them that kind of backstory, especially if you and your friends just start watching AEW, because a lot of people left WWE because of the allegations and things that have happened, the lawsuits that have happened, and they went to AEW looking for their wrestling fan and looking for something else. If you do not know BTE and nobody can tell you, and you and your friends just start watching, you don't get the little sly hints or the funny BTE shorts or different things like that. You just see what you see. Right. And I think somebody needs to, you remember back in the day, they used to at least promote BTE.
Dolores, what you're saying is a fair point, but it's the beginning of a new story. So they're gonna take their time and they're gonna tell the backstory with Collision and Dynamite. This isn't rocket science at the end of the day. This is gonna be told.
I just hate it that they don't promote it like they used to.
Right. They just started doing it again. You got to give them time with certain things, especially when they're doing things from what you can tell that they've been doing this on off the cuff with this. They just thought of this basically because they have to make up for some of the talent that's gotten hurt over the last couple of months. So in this case, they're running with it right off their head and whatnot. I have trust in the Young Bucks and how they tell stories because they know how to tell stories in the long form. Like I said, like I was just saying, they're gonna tell the backstory between what happened with the Bucks and Jack and things of that nature coming in episodes of Dynamite and Collision. This was just the first step in all that, right? To your point, you're probably absolutely right. There are probably new fans in the stands and people watching All Out wondering who the hell this Jack Perry guy is. Trust me when I tell you, they will explain what this is all about because that's what the Bucks do. They are good at the details. They're good at explaining. They're good at breaking stuff down because that's how they like to tell stories in and out of the ring. So I wanted to get that across because I gotta get going. So the world title match to end this all for All Out between Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher. I myself have been privy to and had the honor and privilege of watching many a main event at many different pay-per-views. These two gentlemen here are the faces of AEW currently and into the future. This was probably one of the best wrestling matches I've seen in a very, very long time. Could you tell that Adam Page was going to win this match? I can say I did at the end of the day because it's not that Kyle's not ready. It's just not time, right? It's not time yet. At the end of the day, they're going to coronate Kyle Fletcher at some point. Trust me when I tell you that. But this match was incredible. For folks who want to go back and watch one match out of this entire show, this is the match to go watch outside of the triple threat match. And man, the last 5 matches really did the thing. But at the end of the day, terrific main event between the two of them. Great back and forth. It took every possible shot that Kyle Fletcher had in order to try and beat Adam Page, but he just couldn't win out because he made that one fatal mistake. Ego gets in the way, Kyle Fletcher, and that's what happened there. Adam Page was able to get the win, hit him with an avalanche deadeye into a buckshot lariat, and that was a hell of a main event that went 30 plus minutes between the two of them. No interference, no shenanigans, folks. So you don't have to worry about that. And great match, man. Great match, great main event. And I just wanted to say that for everybody watching.
Yeah, and to your point, they won't be doing Takeshita and Okada to the top of the year because the only opportunity they have was at the King of Pro Wrestling, and he will be facing whoever is the IWGP Heavyweight Title Champion, Konosuke Takeshita. Mm-hmm. So that was their only opportunity, and he's already slated for a match on that show.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go back. Now I'm going to slide through real quick. We're going to show J News what we do over here, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, 11:04 on the 18th, Access TV. We had Mustafa Ali defeat Brian Myers. Judas Icarus defeat Eric Young. The Elegance brand defeat The Inspiration. Kathy Lee and Jesse McKay along with Masha Slamovich. We had Indy Hartwell defeat, they ended in a DQ Danny Luna. Mike Santana pissed me off. This match lasted 32 motherfuckers. Oh, Jesus Christ. Defeats AJZ. We had the TNA World Tag Team title match. The Hardys defeated the Nimitz. They still going back at it. I would say this is an okay show. Normally I trash on it, but not today. Ladies and gentlemen, we had that hardcore baby called GCW. They had 2 shows. Keep in Touch was the first one. It was on the 19th. Manny Lemons defeated Gino Rivera. Marcus Mathers defeated Oro. Vipers defeated Brittany Brooks. One Call Manders defeated Man Like DeReese. Atticus Cougar defeated Starbird Charlie. JKM defeated Brandon Toon. Mance Warner defeated Rob Shee. Jordan Oliver defeated Jack Cartwell and Bear Bronson, and Matt Tremont defeated Dr. Redacted and Joey Janela. I enjoyed that show, but I enjoyed this one the most out of the 2. Homecoming, ladies and gentlemen. Homecoming was on yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a steel cage match. Sam Stackhouse finally defeated KJ Orso after KJ assaulted his wife. Man Like DeReese defeated Matt Cardona and the fans told man like the Reese out of the ring. Jack Cartwheel defeated Oro. We had Atticus Cougar defeat Viperous. One called Manders defeat Marcus Mathers. Jordan Oliver defeated Frankie Kazarian. Brer Bronson defeated Mance Warner. Starboy Charlie defeated Joey Janela. And for the GCW Ultraviolet title death match, Matt Trevant defeated Dr. Redacted. Okay. Defy had a good show. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Aeon. I'm not even gonna try. It was on the 19th. We had a Defy World title match, and it was a title change because I was so glad to see Brian Keith defeat Clark Connors. Evan Rivers defeated El Phantasmo and Ethan HD and Miles. We had a Defy women's title match where Marina Shafir defeated Hyan. Said that right, J News. Midnight Heat, Eddie Pearl and Ricky Gibson still going at it. Defeated Matt Brandigan and Randy Myers. Nicole Matthews defeated Amira. Did a super heavyweight cup match where Killer Cross defeated Kelvin Tateman. I'll tell you, go back and go watch that, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was Road to Destruction 2025.
Yeah, so this is the shows that went down last week. Shows from the 15th. The Noboro Betsu Rambo match had Shota Umino winning the Rambo. In the Rambo, we had Dick Togo, Don Fale, Evil, Katsuyori Murashima, Masatori Yasuda, Master Wato, Oleg Bolton, Shomokato, Tatsuya Matsumoto, Tiger Mask Yo, Yu Uemura, and Zane J. Shota Umino won that. Bullet Club War Dogs tag team, David Finley and Gabe Kidd, along with Gato, defeated Daiki Nagai and Shingo Takagi of the unaffiliated. Bullet Club War Dogs, Oscar, Taiji Ishimori, and Yuto Ice defeated Taichi, Takamishinobu, and Tomohiro Ishii. House of Torture members Doki Ken Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. The Great Bash heel tag team of Sogi Makabe and Tomoaki Hanma, along with Toru Yano, defeated El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Ryusuke Taguchi. El Desperado and Hiroshi Tanahashi then defeated the Great Bash heels of Takashi Iizuka, came back with the Iron Claw along with Toru Yano there. And then Hiroshi Tanahashi with El Desperado and Ryusuke Taguchi at ringside defeated Toru Yano in a one-on-one match there. As they did that up on the 17th, we had Tatsuya Matsumoto and Zane J go to time limit draw. Shomokato and Tiger Mask defeated Katsuyori Murashima and Matsutori Yasuda. House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil defeated Oleg Bolton, Tamaki Hama, and Yu Uemura. Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley and Gabe Kidd defeated Daiki Nagai and Shingo Takagi of the unaffiliated. Bullet Club War Dog members Oscar, Taiji Ishimori, and Yuto Ice defeated Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii. El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Shota Umino defeated Master Wato, Togi Makabe, Toru Yano, and Yo. And then the House of Torture members Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. Then on the 18th, I believe the 18th was a couple of days ago, 3 days ago. So I would say Thursday. We had Masatori Yasuda defeat Zane J via referee's decision. Shomokato and Tiger Mask defeated Katsuyori Murashima and Tetsuya Matsumoto. House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil defeated Oleg Bolton, Shota Umino, and Tomoaki Hanma. Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley and Gabe Kidd defeated Daiki Nagai and Shingo Takagi of the unaffiliated. Bullet Club War Dog members Oscar, Taiji Ishimori, and Yuto Ice defeated Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii. El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Yu Uemura defeated Master Wato, Togi Makabe, Toru Yano, and Yo. And then TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated House of Tortures Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi. On the 20th, which was yesterday, we had Masatori Yasuda defeat Tatsuya Matsumoto. Shomokato and Tiger Mask defeated Katsuya Murashima and Zane J. House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil defeated Oleg Bolton, Tomoaki Hama, and Yu Uemura. Daiki Nagai, Shingo Takagi, and Yoto Tsuji of the unaffiliated defeated Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. Bullet Club War Dogs Oscar, Taiji Ishimori, and Yuto Ice defeated Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii. Master Wato, Togi Makabe, Toru Yano, and Yo defeated El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Shota Umino. And then TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. defeated House of Torture members Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for preview. Starting with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Road to Destruction 2025. We had Zane J. We're going to have Zane J versus Metasumo. Did I pronounce that right, J News? I might be wrong. Shomakato and Tiger Mask versus.
Oh, that was today too? I got it. Yeah, Zane J and Tetsuya Matsumoto are going to go one-on-one. They'll probably end up in the draw. Then we have Shomakato and Tiger Mask going up against Katsura Murashima and Masatori Yasuda. Ole Bolton, Shota Umino, and Tomoya Nakahama are going to go up against House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil. Daiki Nagashi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji of the Unaffiliated going up against Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii will go against Bullet Club War Dog members Oscar, Taiji Shimori, and Yuto Ice. El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryosuke Taguchi, and Yuya Uemura going to go up against Master Wato, Sogi, Makabe, Toriyano, and Yo. And then to end the night, it's going to be House of Torture members Doki, Ren, Narita, Sonata Show, and Yojiro Takahashi going up against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. The 22nd, which is tomorrow, Monday, Zane J is going to go against Masatori Yasuda. Shomakato and Tiger Mask are going to go against Katsura Murashima and Tetsuya Matsumoto. Ole Bolton, Tomoya and Yuya Uemura are going to go up against House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil. Daiki Nagashi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji of the Unaffiliated go up against Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Gato. Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii go up against Bullet Club War Dog members Oscar, Taiji Shimori, and Yuto Ice. El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryosuke Taguchi, and Shota Umino go up against Master Wato, Sogi, Makabe, Toriyano, and Yo. And then House of Torture members Doki, Ren, Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi will go up against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. On the 24th, we had Katsura Murashima and Tetsuya Matsumoto go up against Masatori Yasuda and Zane J. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Master Wato in a special one-on-one match there. Ryosuke Taguchi, Shomakato, and Tiger Mask versus Great Bash Heel, Toki Makabe, and Tomoaki Hanba, along with Toriyano. Oleg Bolton, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura go up against House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil. Taichi, Takamishinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii are going to go up against Bullet Club War Dog members Gato, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Hiromu Takahashi, along with Shingo Takagi and Yota Tsuji, are going to go up against Bullet Club War Dog members David Finley, Gabe Kidd, and Taiji Ishimori. House of Torture members Ren, Narita, Sonata, and Yujiro Takahashi will face off against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, we're going to have a match of House of Torture members of the champions of Doki and Sho. They're going to be going up against the Ichiban Sweet Boys of Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles of TMDK. And then for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, we're going to have the champion El Desperado go one-on-one versus Yo.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, TNA. Victory Road, ladies and gentlemen. On the 26th, you can find it on TNA Plus or the pay-per-view provider. Mustafa Ali versus Moose. TNA X Division title match, Leon Slater versus Myron Reed. TNA Knockouts World Tag Team title match, the Elegance brand will face off the Inspiration. We have the TNA Knockouts World title match with a special referee, Indy Hartwell, Ash by Elegance versus Masha Slamovich. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new place we're going to go. It is Extreme Wrestling, TNT. They will be doing Effie's Big Gay Brunch on the 27th. For those who don't know, Effie is a wrestler who represents the LGBTQIA plus community, and he has this every WrestleMania week, but because they're going to Saudi Arabia in a few years, next year, I think it is, he won't be doing it there. So they're doing some shows in the UK like they normally do. So this will be the third version of AFC's Big Gay Brunch in the UK. We have Dark Sheik versus Adam Bolt. Rainbow Rumble match. We have Connor Molly versus Sammy Blue versus Unknown Person versus Aria Czech versus Prince Pele. We have Leonardo Darwin and Tate Mayfield versus Effie and another person. We have a Pride Up briefcase scramble match. Sky Smithson, Steen, Tony Wright, Archer, and the unknown opponent will be in that match. TNT Ultra X title match. Che Monet versus Sunny Kiss. I can't wait to see Sunny Kiss. Ladies and gentlemen, you know I had to cover this because I'm a big girl. Listen, I'm a big girl. I got to cover this. It is TNT's Sirens Fury. What a big girls play, okay? It is on the 27th on Triller TV. Lucky Sky versus Melissa Fierce. 4-way match. Hannah Taylor versus Holly Barlow versus Leah Raven versus Decca. We have Alexis Falcon versus Angel And we have Chantel Jordan versus Harley Hudson. For the TNT Women's Tag Team title match, we have the Experience of LA Taylor and Sky Smithson versus the She-Wolves of Casey and Molly Spartan. We have TNT Undisputed Women's title match, Lana Austin versus Session Martina. Okay, we talked about that. Now we're on to Wrestling Revolver. Ladies and gentlemen, Revolver Redemption is on the 27th on Triller TV. We already have 3 matches listed. Jake Christ versus Sky Day. That's J News word. La Carmisa.
Where are you? La Cremosa. Okay.
La Carmosa. See, I got the first. That'd be last. Maya versus the BDE. We have a Revolver Texas title no rope pit fight where JD Griffey is going to face Brick Savage. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the WWE, and you know what it is? It's watch along time, and we're going to be watching on 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific for No Mercy, ladies and gentlemen. We have a women's speed title match, Sol Ruka versus an opponent. WWE NXT women's title match, JC Jane versus Lola Vice. The WWE North American title match, we'll have Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights. For the WWE NXT title match, we'll have Obafemi versus Ricky Saints. Now, this is a J News word because I do not know how to pronounce this title. It's through the AAA, and it is the
Alianzas.
Alianzas. Listen, it doesn't have a second slide because they only had 1 match listed so far. And it's El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee versus El Hijo del Vikingo. Hopefully, El Hijo won't get booed. As you know, we normally do the spotlight. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come on to the regular screen. So I don't know why I add myself to J News. Get out my spot. I'm going to do 2 people, well, 2 companies. I'm going to do WWE and I'm going to do GCW. For GCW, I'm going to do KJ Oro because, listen, Fuego del Sol. That's what we're going to call Fuego del Sol. He's been doing so much better. I enjoyed his rivalry with Sam Stackhouse. It has gotten bloody. And even to involve Sam's wife, I say that this is the best thing that has happened to him since leaving AEW. For the WWE, you all know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go for the wonderful couple of AJ and CM Punk. Because I enjoyed that they were like so lovey-dovey, so cute. And I enjoyed that she came back. Now, I do admit her working punches are not cute. But other than that, she did perfectly well. So those are my 2 spotlights of this week.
I'll go with I'm going to spotlight AEW. This week, just with 2 different members of the roster. Because as of right now, New Japan, unfortunately, isn't necessarily moving the needle. As a matter of fact, I mentioned CMLL in this one as well. I'll throw this in. So for AEW, spotlighting the return of Pac. Pac is back. I've been a big fan of Pac for damn near 2 decades now. At the end of the day, glad to see him back. Hopefully, they'll have him sink his teeth into something storyline wise within the sphere of the Death Riders and AEW TV. So I wanted to spotlight Pac, and then I also wanted to spotlight Mystico from CMLL for winning his match against MJF at Aniversario and getting back that light heavyweight championship over at CMLL. It was one hell of a match. It's a match that I would recommend anybody to go back and watch. It happened this past Friday. And it was supposed to be mask versus title. Mystico won in a bloody affair. I didn't think it was going to be as bloody as it was, and it turned out to be that way. Great heel work from MJF and John Cruz. Can't forget about John Cruz. And Mystico was able to basically carry all that energy that the crowd was giving him at Arena Mexico and turn it into one of the biggest wins in recent CMLL history, man. So I just wanted to spotlight Mystico in that particular regard. Folks, I got to get going. I got another podcast to do in a couple of minutes. Appreciate y'all as always for tuning in here at the Hit the Ropes podcast. Y'all can always check me out on the socials, be it on Twitter, be it on Instagram, and things of that nature. I'll be back next Sunday with Delores here on the Hit the Ropes podcast at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate y'all. There's a QR code. The QR code has all my links to my socials and my written reviews for the movies that I watch via Letterboxd and things of that nature. If y'all folks would do me the favor of checking out my written reviews on Letterboxd, it'll be great. The link is in the QR code as well. So appreciate y'all. Thank y'all as always, and I will see you next week.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the shenanigans. Okay, so we'll say the J News for the week, but we're going to what I have for a rap lyric, and it's by the one and only Cardi B. It's one of her new songs. It's actually the first song. It's Cardi B's "Dead" by featuring Summer Walker, and this is one of the lyrics. Okay, so it says, "They say Cardi, you tweaking now. I don't be tweaking enough. It just be doing shit, and I be letting it slide, and I don't be bringing it up. It just be out here telling lies about me, and y'all just be eating it up. But when I drag her to hell, Cardi, you evil as uck. Say my name, she getting the belt. She think I'm playing, she getting the belt. When we go in the store, don't touch nothing, you complaining or you getting the belt. I've cried 300 days last year, and none of y'all called me up. And like those tears that ran down my face, y'all about to be salty as fuck. Listen, they're connected to me. I love the album. It's probably gonna be for the next 23 weeks, one lyric out of all the songs because I enjoyed it. But I am Delores. I am Delores from trying to find got so many design things there. Delores Designs. You can reach me here. Listen, I like a good a good challenge. If you want to learn how to do something, call me. I'm good at doing stuff. I'm even starting to craft and rhinestone and just do everything. I love to learn about everything. I'm just a nerd like that. So please reach out to me. If you like Delores, I can't get to all your social media. I got a code for you. Look at that. The code is bigger. Like we always say, please go check out 10 in the Women's Closet, theeducatednatural.com/women. For those who don't know, 10 is sold out. I can't. I'm on the outside of the club. But you know what? I will survive. I hope I do. If not, I'm going to cry 10 more times, okay? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Joy is live on Mondays and Thursdays at 6:05, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mondays is crafting, Thursdays is prayer. Please go check her out, Miss Joy S1. That's how you find her. Also, if you want to contribute to the community quilt, these are some of the requirements. You can reach her through email or send the blocks to the address listed above. Also, if you have any services or any other products you want to add to the auction, please contact her and let her know. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner every Thursday at 7 p.m. Listen, this Thursday is going to be fly. Please don't miss it. They're going to get her there smack talk about this watermelon wars. They're going to, and I can't wait for y'all to see the thumbnail. It is funny and fly. So go check her out every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, go over there to Workhouse Wrestling Network. I manage them over there. And go gallop on and get you some good AEW conversation, some good fun. We play some great games. So please come on over there. To the best moderator in the world and the best gamer. Go check out Jaleel757. Please go scan his QR code. Go out his social medias. He has funny takes, funny little shorts, quizzes. Listen, I enjoy every moment I can catch Jaleel online, okay? Slim Jim Longfoot. Slim Jim Longfoot. Listen, I try to give you my best, Slim. This is how you can get to his personal social medias and contact him. Please check him out, ladies and gentlemen. Slim is a Black comic book artist. If you have not seen Slim, you are missing out. Okay, because I'm about to tell y'all about Slim and his comic books. He is part of the UGI Studios with his best friend, Johnny Quest Gaming from the Generic Strip Club they have here on YouTube. They make some good comics. And listen, his latest comic, I've been jamming with, okay? So make sure you check him out. Also, for those who came to the watch along yesterday, I so appreciate you. I really, really do. But next week, it's no mercy. Okay, you think I was having fun and getting wild last time? This time I'm not gonna show you no mercy. Okay, I'm gonna put my foot pressed down, stomp together. Okay, because no mercy is the time we have fun. But remember, every Sunday at 1:00 p.m., unless we have to change now, we might have to change some days. We let you know in advance. It is the Hit the Roast podcast. Yes, I'm uploading the stuff. I have to download it first. You know, my computer only can do so much. Ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you please check that out. Now, for those who don't know, it's time. You already know what time it is. And the sun is beaming down on me, so you already know what time it is. It's time to act the fool, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. Just like Seth Rollins, we have just burned it down. Listen, baby boy, baby girl, man, woman, child, them, day to day, whatever you want to be. I want to tell you, please keep your clothes on. I ain't trying to see all that, okay? But I got something. That'll help you be a little bit cooler. And that's if I cut the lights off. I didn't want to go off today. They said no. Oh, I know what happened. Cut off the lights. And because I'm here by myself, that's how you go. Let's go. It's a little cooler in here now, okay? But until then, I want to say I appreciate all of you all. I think we at 434 now. All right, listen, road to 500. It's the road to 500, okay? Make sure you check out Delores World, watch all the things of the things, learn some new things, have some fun. But until then, I want to say peace.